Okay, so we'll start the class now. So good morning, everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the second part of your unit one. That is nothing but we come across called as domain-specific IoT. Well, already we discussed about. So here we will be discussing about the different type of applications where we people are going to use IoT. Okay, basically. So here already we have discussed it in the previous sessions. We discussed about the different applications like we discussed in cities. Okay, same way we discussed about home automation, then we discussed about industry, agriculture. So there we have just provided the term where we can use these particular IoT concepts. But we did not go in depth related to each and every particular domain. But today in this particular session, we will be discussing about these particular domains. Like we have industry, agriculture, health related, okay, domain. Same way we have home automation, we have environment. So all these things so in between for environment where we can use this particular IoT. For home automation where we can use that we are going to see in this particular session. So without wasting time, we'll go to the next slide. So that's the outline what we have here. So we'll be discussing in this session related to your home automation followed with the cities. So in cities where we can use IoT in order to make our cities a much better place. Same way environment. So we have several environment disasters like weather related. We may be having earthquakes. We may be having floods. So in order to measure them before itself so that a less damage can take place. So we use where we can use IoT that we are going to see. Same way coming to energy system. Energy systems here is nothing but related to your power plants where the electricity is actually getting generated or steel plant where a huge amount of electricity is required. So how they are actually managing it that we are going to see in energy systems. Followed with that, we have something called retail. Retail is nothing but we people go for shopping, and after getting all the necessary items, we generally pay using a debit or credit card. So definitely we are using some kind of devices there, so that comes under retail. Something like they usually provide you with a small device where we will be inserting our what we call credit or debit card, and then the amount will be waived off. So that comes under retail. Logistics. Logistics is nothing but whenever we people usually try to buy any item in online. So what happens here? We can keep track of where exactly your item has reached. So that information, how you are getting it is based upon this logistics. We'll come across this. Same way we have agriculture. So we have smart irrigation systems nowadays. We don't we don't need the farmers to go there and provide the water or provide any supply content. Automatically the system will do it for it. So that all comes under agriculture. Followed with that we have industries. So industries, most of the industries nowadays are automated in nature. The machines are doing the work. So how these machines come to know that this much amount of data has to be placed or this many items has to be placed into that particular box, how that box has to be arranged, how that bottles has to be created. Okay, so using a small plastic and all, that all comes under industry. So here it is purely IoT based. Next we have health and lifestyle. The best example for this is nothing but your smart bands. What you people are using. Okay, you're wearing smart bands and other different kind of gadgets related to health monitoring like BP, heart rate and all, isn't it? Your what we call smart band is the most best example. So all these things are actually using IoT. So we are going to cover all these things. So let's see one by one how we are going to understand that particular concept. So let's first discuss about home automation. So this is just a normal example. So where we can use IoT here, like healthcare, energy, building, retail, security, home, education, transportation, all fields we can use IoT. So we'll see one by one from the first one is home automation. So coming to the home automation, we'll be looking around something called a smart lighting. So if this is nothing but within our home, so we wanted to make our home dim. Okay, the lights, okay, based upon if no one is present in the room, we don't want all the lights to be turned on. So we want to allow only few lights to turn on, remaining it should be turned off. So that is what comes under smart lighting. Not only that, sometimes your mood might be somewhat dull. So you don't want some bright light. So based upon the application what you have, you may try to turn off that particular, it means you can dim that particular light without switching off or switching on. So that all comes under smart lighting. Then we have smart appliances. As I told you before, using a remote, your mobile phone, you wanted to turn on your AC, your what we call TV or something like your washing machine or something like your oven. Okay, so that all comes under smart appliances. Next, intrusion detection. Yeah, you want to protect your home from the intruders. So definitely you can use IoT in order to make sure that particular detection can be done easily or in hell before. Okay, so how means we can either do something like capturing the image of the person who is trying to enter in your home without your permission, or like something you will be given an alert using a SMS or something like that. That will be seen in this. Then we have smoke and gas detector. So these all things are actually related to your home. So within home, you people are using them. Okay. So that's why it is called home automation. So automatically the system is going to control your entire home, and based upon any danger, it is going to provide you an alert. That's what we call it as home automation. Smoke and gas detectors, since we have many different type of detectors, like gas, we have cylinders there, we have other kind of gas coming up, so all that, or some other kind of gas which is not required, which is very dangerous for human beings. So such kind of gases is there in our home, that can be detected using gas or smoke detectors. Okay, so then let's see one by one all this so that you can understand. So here is a small diagram related to it. So this is your home, which is actually totally automated using your IoT devices, something like internet control. We have a wall mount which your people are controlling using your devices. Turning off your motor on and off depending upon the water. If the water level has reached to the max extent, you have to automatically off that particular motor and all. Okay, so for that, water is required. Again, so we have water heater. So if we want to control our water heater, so whenever we want hot water, we can switch on that. Whenever we don't want it, we can remaining time we can switch it off in that way. Okay, so this is the way how we can actually do it. So first we discuss about the what we call smart lighting and all these things. Then I'll show you a diagrammatic way how these are actually connected. So first we have smart lighting. So as I told you before, smart lighting, why we are using is mainly for energy saving. Like I told you, within a room, if no one is there, you are simply switched on the fans and what we call light. What will happen? It will simply consume the energy. Okay, it will consume the power, and based on that, you will be charged. But it is unnecessary if a person is not available in the room. Why to keep that lights and fans on? We want to turn it off. Since we can't manually do, we don't want to do it, automatically it should be done. So definitely it should be connected with some kind of devices. Okay. So with the help of that, it will automatically turn off if no one is available in the room. If someone is available, automatically it will turn it on. So this is the way. So this the main purpose of smart lighting is it saves energy. Okay. So same way your bills will be reduced. So what are the different technologies we use in order to enable these technologies? Okay, so smart lighting is nothing but we have solid state lighting, that is nothing but your LED light. Nowadays mostly everyone is using LED, right? LED lights, because these are they actually consume very less power. They are much more efficient. Even the brightness is much more better. And based upon our requirement, we can reduce. The main purpose for using LED lights is it can be reduced based upon our requirements. The light, the intensity of the light can be reduced based upon our requirement. Next, we have IP enabled lights is nothing but we will be connecting a device, IoT device to this particular LED light. Okay, and based upon this, we'll send controls to this particular device, and that will try to dim that particular light, or it may increase the brightness, or it may totally turn it off, or turn it on that particular light. So these are the two ways how we can use this smart lighting. Solid state lighting, that is nothing but based upon your LED light. Same way we have IP enabled lights. This is something like, you people are just, let us suppose you people went out for some event and you people are coming home. So before you people enter in your house, you want the lights and the what we call fans to be turned on. So what you can do, so when you people are still on the way, you people can use your mobile device, and with the help of the internet connection, you can turn on your lights automatically or turn on your fans automatically, so that by the time you enter the room, your room is in a cool state. So that all comes under. So IP based enable light, nothing much about it. Okay, so all that. So what is saying, how we can do that means definitely whatever the lights we have here, that should be controlled by the IoT application. We need to connect this particular light to a Wi-Fi enabled or internet related content. Okay, so it should be connected to the internet. Okay, how we can connect it? We have devices. Okay, using that devices we can connect it up. So how we can control them? we can control using either a mobile phone or using a web application in our mobile phones. Okay, so like if people created some application where you have created a user interface, GUI based interface. So using that GUI based interface, you people can try to switch on or switch off the lights. So that all comes under in this particular scenario. Then we have smart lighting solutions. What do you mean by smart lighting solutions? Is nothing but based upon your mood, you people can try to change the power, the light. So that is what he's saying in this particular scenario. That is what we call illumination, like very bright, low brightness. You're right now you are very dull in mood, so you can reduce what we call the intensity of the light. So it will be like the entire room will be like a small dull kind of thing. That comes under this. Okay. So this purpose, in this way, we can use the smart lighting concept. Followed with that, we have something called appliances. So coming to the appliances, like we in our home, we have very different type of electronic devices, like your micro oven, your refrigerator, your AC, your what we call washing machine. Now all these things you want to control with the help of a single remote. That you can do it using this, but that's what we call it as smart appliances. So in this, what happens? This is the open source. Open Remote is the open source automation platform. Okay, it is an open source platform using which you people can try to control these devices, these electronic devices which are present in your home. This is open source in the sense you people can download for free, and using this you can make your device, your smartphone, as a remote control to control your TVs, smart TVs, followed with your micro ovens, your washing machine, everything. Okay, even fans. So basically this open source consists of three basic components. First one, controller, which is actually required to control the devices which have been connected to that particular device. Same way we have design. So definitely whenever we are connecting to that, there should be some kind of design to understand how it is connected. So that comes under this designing phase. What about control panel is nothing but, this is something like an application in your mobile phone. Like if people are switching on in your mobile phone, the fan is getting turned on or the washing machine is getting turned on. Same way, if you're switching off, then automatically the washing machine should turn off. That all things comes under your control panel. This is a user interface like of thing, okay, given on your smart devices. So using this, you people can perform that particular task. It's very easy. Okay, and you people can know that whenever you people try to clean clothes using washing machine, whenever you're setting the timer, when the timer is turned off, automatically it give a signal by using a buzz sound, right? So those all things comes under smart appliances. So next is intrusion detection. Well, it is, you people know that intrusion detection, how we can do. So definitely we should have something called security cameras. Using security cameras, we people can try to capture the image of the person who is trying to enter into our homes without our permission. And based on that, what we can do, we can simply raise the alert. Okay, so this alert can be of different forms. Maybe like you can send a SMS to the author, to the owner of that particular house, indicating that someone is trying to enter, or something. You people can send the intrusion like email, like you people can capture the image and you can transmit it. Okay, using that particular what we call capture the image using the security cameras and send it via email to the person, so that he whenever he sees, based on that he can take some action. Same way we can also do some kind of short video clips. Okay, in the latest movie we have something called V. I don't know how many of you seen it. In that they actually do the same thing. They capture, actually they don't use IoT, but they prepare a video and that video has been transmitted using email. Same concept, but only thing is the systems are going to perform this task. Okay, not a human being. So here we have like image grab, like we latest technologies, if you are using much more, you can use image grab. Image grab is nothing but something taking an image, capturing the image. Nowadays you might be saying in your news, there are so many different robberies taking places. So they can clearly show you using a camera, how they are using the camera photos, how they are actually knobbing that particular area, isn't it? That particular shop or something like that, or the video clips they are showing it, how they are doing it using this. There is no man actually present to do that. Only automatically the system is doing it. So that is what actually been presented. So in this way we can do. Same way we have gas sensors. So coming to the gas sensors, these are used for typically detecting different type of gases. There are several different type of gas in our homes, that may be like from AC. You might be getting some different kind of gases been emitted. So making sure that that gases are not entering in your room. So that is one thing. Same way we have cylinders at our home, so making sure that the cylinders gas is not getting leaked and all. So for that we have detectors. Okay. So this is a simple example. So this is MQ2. This is one of the gas sensors we actually use. So in the recent project, what we did, we used this MQ2 gas sensor, and using this, we try to identify the different type of gases that have been released from our vehicles. Okay. So this is one type of gas sensor, MQ2. This is a gas sensor. Same way, other different type of gas sensors are available. We people can use it in order to capture it. Okay. So this is a finally this is a basic diagram what we have here. Well, it's not so clear, but still I try to. So this is I just downloaded from a net. Okay, so that you can have clear idea. So like we people can perform light control. We have a smoke detector. So here you can see this is a IoT device. So based upon now this particular IoT device is control connected to this. This is what we call control panel. This is what we call it as a control panel. So all this panel is the one to which all these devices are controlled. Okay. So here we have a GUI based control panel. From here we can see everything within a room what is actually happening. So this is your intrusion detection is connected to this. We have a doorbell connected to this. Finally, sensor for mailbox. So outside the home we have a mailbox. So if anyone tries to dump anything, immediately will come a response here. So based on this particular control panel, GUI based control panel, we can try to find out who has inserted or who has touched this particular box and all. Same way, electronic part. This is nothing but your gas stoves and all, air conditioning, sprinkles. So your garden, you want to sprinkle the what we call water every evening. How you can do it means based upon this particular scenario. Okay. So if you look at here, we have two different types of things. One is called Ethernet here. Now this is what he's talking. This is the channel what we have Ethernet here. And remaining this violet color, what you are seeing is a signal. So these sensors actually detect the signal, I mean sense it and send the signal to this. And from here it is transmitted with the help of a Ethernet to control panels. And based upon that, the actions can be taken. Now this control panel can be either your smartphone, or it can be a laptop, or it can be a personal computer. That depends the way you people are using it. If it is a smartphone, you may be outside of your home, still you people will get alerts. Based on that, you can access it and you can perform some action. So this is the way how exactly your home automation works. It's very easy to understand. Okay, so next what we have is cities. So in cities where we can use IoT devices means we have something called smart parking. So here what happens is smart parking is we'll try to find where there is a empty slot so that we can park our vehicles. For that we use smart parking. Then we have smart lighting for roads. I don't know how many of you know that, but our Vizag, all the highway roads, whatever you're seeing, the lights are smart lighting. Means no one turns on the light when it is around 5 o'clock in the evening or 6 o'clock. Okay, based upon the lighting conditions outside, the switches means automatically the lights will turn on. Means based upon the outside environment, what is the intensity of light is there, based on that, these particular lights will turn on. Where means our highway roads, whatever the lights we have, those are smart LED lights. Okay, that comes under smart lighting. Same with smart roads. Smart roads actually provide indication to the user of the particular vehicle, indicating that how that particular road is in the coming up after a few kilometers. The road might not be good, or how much time it is going to take in order to reach your destination. All that information is given using smart roads. Same way we can use structural health monitoring, surveillances we can do, like police people, traffic police people nowadays, they're not stopping any vehicles. Why? There are surveillance cameras everywhere. So what the surveillance cameras does is, there is a control panel where these people are sitting, traffic police people are sitting there. From there, they simply capture the image. If the person is not wearing helmet or he is driving rashly, simply will capture the image, send the information to the mobile number indicating that this is a fine you people have to pay. So all this then is done automatically. Okay? So this is the way it can be used. Same way emergency responses, like emergency vehicles are moving in and around. So it has to clear the traffic. For that also we can use this particular thing. So these are the things where we can use cities. Cities, okay. So how we can use? So this is a small diagram related to that. So you are making your city a smart city. Vizag is actually a smart city. You might have seen there are a lot of white and blue color poles that have been constructed nowadays. Why those are connected means nothing but to capture the images, to capture, make that city modern, smart, so that automatically detect the images if someone is driving rashly, or someone is not driving perfectly, or the roads are not good and all, in order to capture that. Now, if we talk about smart parking here, so what we mean by here is nothing but we have very parking slots, right? Now, whenever a vehicle, when we take a vehicle and reach that parking slot, first what we are doing, we are trying to find out where that slot is empty. But when you people haven't reached that position, that particular destination, before only you want to detect where exactly the slot is so that you can directly place your vehicle there. So we require something called as smart parking for that. So determining or locating the parking space is the most important thing for smart parking. Okay. So what it is does is it actually detects the empty parking slots, how many we have. So which one is nearby, we can try to store it. How it does it? Definitely it should have an internet connection, and your car should be connected with this particular internet so that it can provide signals to it. So we can do it either using a phone or a tablet and a car navigation system. Using these three, we can use to find the slots. Okay, nowadays we might be saying the latest cars, whatever are coming, those are smart cars. Automatically it will try to detect where exactly your, what we call, the position is available. How it does, I'll show with the help of a small diagram. Look at here. Now every parking slot, these are the different parking slots what you people have. This is your parking slot. This is another parking slot. This is a parking slot, and this one. Now every parking slot will have a sensor. Okay, and there will be you people might be saying this particular pole here. Now this pole will actually come. Now these poles are very smart in nature. Why? They have one small device inserted here. This is what we call it as gateway. Okay, this is what we call it as a gateway. So what is the main purpose of gateway? This gateway will get information from these sensors, parking sensors, wherever the slots were empty. Now from this particular gateway, the information will be transmitted to the net. And with the help of our mobile phones, we will connect to that internet and try to get the data where exactly these empty slots are available. Since this has been occupied, this will not be transmitted. So it will send that this particular slots are empty. Not only that, I told you about your lighting sensors, like smart lighting roads. This example can be applicable for that also. You can see here, these are the lights, street lights. Okay. Now these street lights are having smart LEDs, which are actually using a protocol called as 6LoWPAN. I think we have discussed about 6LoWPAN, isn't it? We discussed about the layers. So in the layers we had physical layer, network layer, transport layer, application layer. So in the physical layer, we have discussed about Ethernet. We have discussed about something called as Wi-Fi. Then we discussed about Wi-Fi Max. Then we discussed about 6LoWPAN. And I already told you what in the 6LoWPAN is nothing but IPv6 low power wireless personal area network. So this is a personal area network here. What is the protocol it is using? Is 6 is nothing but it represents IP version 6, Internet Protocol version 6. Okay, LO is nothing but low power. Low power. P is nothing but personal. Okay, W is nothing but wireless. Since you can see there is no connection, no wired connection here. So it's wireless personal area network. So using this, all these devices are connected. All these lights are connected. So whenever there is a dim outside, the light is dim, automatically these lights will turn on. So both ways you people can see this is an example, best example for that. So these sensors, parking sensors will provide information to the gateway with the help of, this is something like your router you can assume. Okay, this is your router line. So here the information transmitted to your router, from the router transmitted to the net. Now whenever whoever is logging in with that particular application related to this particular device, it will get the information where the parking slots are available, and based on that it can go there and try to park their vehicles. It's very, very simple. So next we have something called as smart lighting for roads. Okay, the previous example I already explained you. Same way we have another one diagram here. You people can say this. So what is the main purpose of smart lighting is saving energy. So whenever there is a enough lightning is there outside, it will automatically turn off the street lights. Okay, you can see in the diagram that we have, this is a road. This is a road which actually has lights on its opposite direction. Now these will be connected to this, but there will be a central server like this. Okay, you can assume as a server, not exactly a server. So here whatever the information is there, that will be stored here, and this information is actually transmitted to the monitoring center. Means it is located somewhere in the middle of the city. From there, these people are monitoring whether the street lights are on and off. Okay. So here, how these are connected means using, I think you can see here, you have a GPS connection here, GPRS. So using this, you have connected monitoring center. Okay. GPRS we are using and trying to connect. Now, in between these particular street lights, we will be having the nodes. That is nothing but IoT sensor nodes, which will be using something called Zigbee connection. Zigbee. I told you, what do you mean by Zigbee here? Nothing but it is one of the variation of your Bluetooth, which doesn't require any kind of hardware device to get connected. So using wireless, you people can directly connect, okay, different devices. So here these are connected using this Zigbee. In the previous diagram, what I have shown you, it uses a low pan, right? 6 low pan. But here it is using the Zigbee connection to transmit the information. Both are wireless, don't worry. But this is a different protocol. This is a different protocol. This is a pure 6 low pan. You people can use it for wired also. But Zigbee means you can use it only for wireless communication. So in this way it controls. Okay, this is the way how we people can use smart lighting concept. Next we have smart roads. So smart roads are used for different purposes. Okay, so then we have structural health monitoring, same. So we'll be having sensors like if people are using smart bands. So within that you might be having health related means, or it will consist of all the different type of sensors which are used for detecting your health monitoring, BP, heart rate, etc. And based on that information will be transmitted directly to the consult doctor, whoever been assigned to you, or whichever the data, whichever the value, the phone number you might be have installed. So based on that, the data will be transmitted to the person, giving a alert to the doctor saying that this person's BP is rising or the heartbeat is rising. Based on that, they can contact the victim and they can ask him, or they can suggest some tablets based on this which he can take, and they can try to overcome that problem. Okay. So, but remember one thing, whatever the information we are talking about, there should be an internet connection or a cloud, it should be a cloud-based application. Without that, it's not possible. Related to your smart, same way related to your health related monitoring. Okay. So these are the ways how we can perform it. Next we have surveillances. So surveillances already we discussed, right? So we got surveillances for public transports and other requirements. Okay, we wanted to capture the images who are not driving very safely and all. Okay, so how we can do that surveillance? Basically, whenever we talk about surveillance here, we come across something called as cameras. Using cameras, all these cameras are connected to a single monitoring system. So as I told you, I just shown you in the previous diagram. So from that monitoring system, we will be trying to see all the images. Mostly in most of our movies, South Indian movies, you might have seen, whenever there is some action takes place, what the police do, they enter into a control room which consists of many different type of LEDs. Okay, your TV, and from there they'll try to capture. Like they are trying to track one car. So they what they will do, they'll try to track it from all the different locations, and they'll try to find out where exactly that car is located. So that way they are actually doing it surveillance. For that purpose, it is most important. Same way, emergency responses, like infrastructure, like suddenly there is a building which is about to collapse. Okay, it's around 25 years old, a 30 years old building, which there is no proper care has been taken place. So if the sensors are deployed there, it will immediately alert the GVMC stating that it may collapse any minute or any time. So immediately what the GVMC people can do, they can try to stop them. Okay, stop the people entering into that building, and they'll just try to overcome that problem. Or else what will happen is many people, there will be a loss of many lives. Okay, so in that way we can protect it. So these alerts, whatever that have been transmitted, it can be transmitted either using SMS or just indicating some kind of beep sounds and all. We can do that. Okay, all this comes under your emergency responses. Next, we have something called as environment. This is also one of the best part where we people can use IoT. Now, in environment, what it's saying is there are different platforms here. We have something called weather monitoring, air pollution, noise pollution, forest fire detection, river. I think you people can understand all these are natural disasters, isn't it? These all are natural disasters what we are talking about here. So first we have something called weather monitoring. So we want to check the weather, how the weather today it will be, whether it will be rainy or whether it will be very shiny, very hot today, or there will be more humidity or something like that. Same way air pollution is more important because the number of vehicles nowadays have been so much increased. We want to determine what is the how much air pollution has been generated by our city, that we can determine here. Same way noise pollution, obviously related to air pollution only. forest fire detection. Nowadays, you might have seen in Australia, so much fire detection. There is so much of loss has taken place. We can try to overcome that. How? By deploying these IoT devices. If we get the information early, we can take some precautions. But if we don't have such a kind of measures, definitely it will be a huge loss to our nature. Same way, rivers and flood detection. All these things comes under your environment. So let's see one by one with the help of a small diagram. So first we have something called weather monitoring. So what is the main purpose here is nothing but we want to weather monitoring how we can do by using temperature, humidity and pressure. Using these three we can determine the weather. Okay. So definitely we'll be having different sensors deployed in our environment where we have temperature, humidity. We have temperature sensor, humidity. Actually we have a single sensor called DHT. So using this DHT, we can, so it will perform both the operation. Temperature and humidity operation will be performed by that. For pressure, we might be using some other sensor which will deploy in the environment. And from there, the data will be captured by this particular sensor and that will be directly transmitted to cloud. So within the cloud, we will be having some applications. Okay. Now based on this, you people can understand which IoT level we can use. We already discussed 6 levels. I think level 4 or 5 can be used for weather monitoring sensor. We'll see in the next slide. Using level 4 or 5 or 3, I think, among these three, we can use one of the IoT levels and we can perform this weather monitoring kind of thing. So here, this is purely cloud based. Whatever the data is measured by these particular sensors will be transmitted to cloud. And within the cloud, we will be having some algorithms using which we'll try to determine how the weather will be today. Okay. So based upon the previous data, whatever we have captured. So here we have one application called AirPi. Okay, this is the kit which we can use in order to monitor the weather. Okay, so it will have information related to your temperature, humidity, air, pressure, light level, UV. All these things will be provided, but this is one of the apps which you people can use. Not only that, your smartphones nowadays, you people have something called some kind of weather related app will be definitely there. Like in my mobile phone, we have something called AccuWeather. This is the app. Now this app will provide the details related day by day details related how the weather today will be during my afternoon session, during my night session or the morning, whether it will be raining or something like that. Okay, and most of the predictions are somewhat equal. They are not 100. So remember, whatever the predictions this weather monitoring does, it is not 100% accurate, but to certain extent it is accurate. Like 80% it might be accurate. Okay, so based on that, you people can see like it might be saying that today afternoon it might be raining. Okay, better you can take an umbrella along with you. That's a best option what we can have. So it may be raining, may not be raining, but it can be used. Same way if you talk about air pollution here, air pollution also same. What is the main purpose of deploying the sensors here is mainly for determining the emission of harmful gases. You know, CO3, our layer, ozone layer, what we have is getting damaged because of this carbon monoxide and all. So all that harmful gases we can determine, and based on that we can try to find out with the measures using which we can try to overcome this. As you know that because of the CO3, carbon monoxide here, our ozone layer is getting holes in that. Okay, so that we can overcome using this particular monitoring thing. Even all the factories and automobiles use this air pollution monitoring sensor. So whatever the data that is collected, based on that we'll perform some algorithms we'll apply on that, and using those algorithms we'll try to determine whether it is releasing more harmful gases or whether it is as per the norms or something like that. And based on that we can take some necessary action. Yeah. So as I told you, yeah, see here, as I told you, this is a weather monitoring small example here. Here people can see we have seen 6 different type of IoT levels. So the last level what we have seen can be used for your weather monitoring system. So it is purely cloud-based application. Now this is the device which is actually deployed. See, this is the device which has been deployed here by a human being. So what this does, it actually captures every information related to whatever the wind speed we have, which direction it is moving, how much humidity is there, okay, how much light intensity we are having today, whether it is too, what the temperature might be more or not, whether it will be raining or not, all this information, like, barometric pressure, all this information will be provided by this particular device. These are the devices which have been deployed. And remember, these are not deployed in cities, these are deployed in some specific location from where we can get the accurate information. Okay. So you can see a person here who is trying to deploy this particular device here. From here, he will try to get the information. It will have a net connection. Actually, these are satellite-based communication. So here, these devices are directly connected to the satellite. So from there, these people are directly able to access the data. And from that, they'll perform different operations. And based on that, these people can perform or try to determine all the different type of measurements, okay, related to your temperature. See, it can detect even temperature related to your air, water, and soil. Like, in 2012 movie, they said that the temperature of the soil is getting so high that the soil will start melting. Okay, so they are given in that movie that it is the outer layer is getting weakened up. How they able to detect it? Using this IoT device. They did not show it up, but if any case we can determine is only with the help of this IoT devices. Okay, next we have related to noise pollution in here. So noise pollution also we can determine using sound sensors. We have sound sensor. This is the sound sensor we do have. Using this sensor, you people may try to determine the different levels of sounds that have been generated. So what level of IoT we can use here is C, it is level 4. Using level 4, we can perform this noise monitoring and all. So here we use this sound sensor. Apart from that, we have deployed some device here. This device will transmit the data. Now, if you look at here, this is a something called panel. Okay, this is something solar panel using which automatically the energy is provided to this particular device. This is the device which actually captures it. This device will consist of this particular sensor nodes. Now this solar panel will provide energy to this. So you don't have to provide separately any kind of energy. That is the best part because these devices are very tiny. You can see how small it is. You can see this sensor how small it is. It requires very small amount of power, not huge amount. So we can directly provide using the solar panel. So this way we can try to monitor the sensors. Okay. So after this we have something called as fire detection. So if we talk about fire detection here, so in the fire detection we do have sensors. Now in this diagram I'm representing that. So some sensors will be deployed in different environments, isn't it? From that environment, what happens exactly here is it will try to detect the data. So how it is going to detect is nothing but this is a below example. You can see these are sorry. So these are the nodes that have been represented here. Now these nodes will try to collect. These are placed in different locations. Like this is one of the sensor located. This is another one. See, there is a lot of difference here. Lot of distance is there. So here there is another sensor. This is another. This one another. All these are located in different locations. Now within this region, we can determine if there is a power failure. Okay, there is a forest fire or something like that happens. Any smoke is there. All these are connected using some kind of routing algorithm. So the data will be transmitted from one node to another node and finally it is transmitted to the base station. From the base station, there are persons who are monitoring it and based on that, these people can start taking action. So this is the way how we can determine forest fire. So it uses actually IoT level 3 can be used for forest fire detection. Remember, whatever the manipulations, whatever the calculation part we are doing it up, that will be done in your cloud. Data analysis will be done in cloud. It will not be done in this, what we call as this particular location. Okay, this particular location data analysis will not be done. These are meant only to collect the data from this particular forest, transmit it to the cloud. From the cloud, the data analysis part will be performed based upon the algorithms, whatever we are writing it up, and based on that, we'll just try to predict whether it is going to take any fire within the forest or not. If it is, take necessary precaution before itself. So this is related to your forest fire. Same way, river flooding also we do have sensors which are deployed in different locations and we try to gather the data from them and try to deploy the information and transmit it. Okay, so same way, same process for your river flooding. Next we have something called as energy. So smart grid is the one which we actually use for energy here. Okay, so mostly used for factories, your nuclear power plants, thermal power plants, hydraulic, all these things actually uses smart grid and using this they try to save the power energy. Creating energy is actually a huge task. It requires lot of resources. Now in order to make sure this energy is used perfectly without any loss, okay, even though there will be definitely a loss here, but still without any loss, in order to make sure this electricity is used, we use something called a smart grid. This is the most important. Followed with that, we have renewable energy system and then prognostic. Prognostic is nothing but taking measures in order to make sure that the loss of the electricity is very less. We can try to use different measures using which we can try to reduce the loss of electricity. See, whenever the electricity is transmitted from one location to our home, some amount of electricity will be vanished based upon heat in the format of heat. So when you people are transmitting here electricity, there will be a loss of energy based upon the heat in the format of heat. Okay, so whenever you're transmitting through a wire, some heat is generated in and around it. So that heat is nothing but loss of the energy that you people are transmitting, nothing but your electricity. So what are the measures we can use? That is what represented in prognostics. So in this, if you talk about, smart grids are used for useful and intelligent power consumption. So the main purpose of this is generation of the electricity. Okay, these smart grids are meant for generating electricity. So determining how much consumption of that electricity is done. Okay, what about the storage purpose, where we can store the remaining electricity, whatever is there, how much is been consumed, how much is left, and that left, how much, where we need to store. And same way, distribution and equivalent health data means how we can distribute that energy, whatever we are having, equally among different based upon the requirements. For example, for home requirements, we require very less amount of electricity. But can we use the same electricity for your factories? Whatever the electricity we people are consuming at home, it's highly impossible, right? We might be hardly using 4 or 5 devices based on electricity. But if you talk about your factories, where everything is automated in nature, it's highly impossible. They require huge amount of electricity. So based upon that, how the energy is distributed, that is done using this smart grids. Okay, so we'll see in the coming classes how we can do that. For timing, just have a understand of this particular smart grid. Okay, so these are used for analyzing purpose of the data and the power whatever has been generated, how much data means how much energy has been transmitted, how much is consumed. Based on that, we are going to perform operation. Now, where this data will be stored is nothing but it is actually cloud based, where we will be storing the data and will perform algorithm means based upon the algorithms whatever we are writing will perform the operation. So those all things comes under here. Next we have renewable energy and prognostics. Renewable energy is nothing but which we can get it from the nature, so which we can use it again and again. For that we can use IoT devices. Now using these IoT devices we can try to perform try to consume this energy perfectly. This is like something solar panels. We do have solar panels. So at our home we do have solar panels, and using that we are using electricity. So whatever the electricity is generated by the solar panels, we may try to store that in our system. We require some batteries where we can store this energy, and based upon our requirement we can consume it. So definitely we require IoT here in order to integrate all these devices together. So that is the best part here for your IoT. Same way, coming to your prognostics, these are used for measurement purpose, how much we have generated the energy, how much has been consumed. So for that we have a device here. We have phasor measure unit. Using this, we people can measure how much electricity is getting generated, how much it is getting consumed, and how much we are actually leaving it up. Based upon this, we can analyze the data. So last 1 year data if we have, based on that we'll come to know the next year how much amount of electricity we need to generate. So we'll perform some operation on the previous data. Based on that we'll come to know. Okay, so this is the way how we can do it. Since the time is up, we'll stop here. So remaining classes, something retail and inventory. Okay, let me explain this and then we'll stop. Retail is nothing but your, we have different applications in that related to your inventory, smart payments and smart vending. So smart payment is nothing but you people might be paying today nowadays using your phone pay or other applications, right? That comes under smart pay. Inventory is nothing but you people use credit cards when you go to your Big Bazaar or Reliance, and there you people are inserting in some vending machines, okay? And based on that, you are paying the amount. So those all things comes in the inventory and smart vending machines. Apart from that, inventory management means again it comes across something called RFID tags. Well, I'll explain this tomorrow since we don't have much time here. So we will, okay, we'll see that tomorrow, the remaining portion.